In 146 BC, Rome destroyed an entire city not because it had to, but to send a message. This wasn't a battle for survival, it was a calculated act of terror, designed to show the world the price of defying the Republic. The victim was Corinth, one of the most brilliant jewels of the ancient Greek world, and its obliteration would echo for centuries. So, what did Corinth do to deserve such a fate? And what was the message Rome wanted to send? Before its tragic end, Corinth was the envy of the Mediterranean. Situated on a narrow isthmus connecting mainland Greece to the Peloponnese, it controlled two major seaports, one facing Italy and the other Asia Minor. This strategic location made it a powerhouse of trade. Goods, people, and ideas flowed through its markets, making it incredibly wealthy and cosmopolitan. It was a city famous for its luxurious lifestyle, its magnificent temples, and its stunning bronze work. Artists, philosophers, and merchants flocked there, creating a vibrant cultural hub that rivaled even Athens. Corinth wasn't just rich in gold. It was rich in culture, influence, and pride, but its prosperity and independent spirit would ultimately attract the unwanted attention of a rising superpower. By the mid-2nd century BC, Rome was no stranger to Greece. After defeating the Macedonian kings in a series of wars, Roman legions had effectively become the arbiters of Greek affairs. The old city-states, once proud and independent, now existed under Rome's shadow. Rome preferred to rule indirectly, allowing local governments to manage their own affairs, as long as they remembered who was truly in charge. The relationship was framed as an alliance, but it was an alliance between a lion and a lamb. Rome demanded submission, not partnership. Any hint of defiance was met with a swift and firm response. The Greeks were expected to be grateful subjects, not equal partners. For a city as proud as Corinth, this new reality was a bitter pill to swallow. The tension finally boiled over. The Achaean League, a confederation of Greek city-states led by Corinth, began to push back against Roman interference. They challenged Roman decrees and asserted their right to govern themselves, in a fateful act of defiance. When Roman envoys arrived in Corinth to deliver an ultimatum, they were met not with respect, but with scorn. The Corinthians, fired up by anti-Roman rhetoric, publicly insulted and humiliated the envoys, chasing them out of the city. To Rome, this was more than just an insult. It was a declaration of rebellion. An attack on its ambassadors was an attack on the honor of the Republic itself. The line had been crossed, and Corinth had just sealed its own doom. For Rome, there was no turning back. This act could not go unpunished. Rome's response was immediate and utterly ruthless. The Senate dispatched the consul Lucius Mummius, a hardened and efficient general, with a clear and brutal mandate: make an example of Corinth. There would be no negotiations, no treaties, and no second chances. Mummius wasn't sent to pacify the region, he was sent to deliver a punishment. As his legions marched into Greece, they swiftly crushed the Achaean League's army. The Greek forces, though brave, were no match for the disciplined and battle-hardened Roman soldiers. The path to Corinth was now wide open. The city's defenders braced for a siege, hoping for a negotiated surrender, but they misunderstood the Roman mission. Mercy was never part of the plan. Rome wasn't coming to talk, it was coming to erase a city from the map. In the year 146 BC, Mummius and his army arrived at the gates of Corinth. The city was quickly captured, its defenses overwhelmed. What followed was not a typical conquest, but a systematic annihilation, on Mummius's orders. The Roman soldiers unleashed hell. All the men within the city walls were slaughtered without mercy. The women and children were rounded up, their fate to be sold into slavery across the vast Roman territories. The city's legendary treasures were next: magnificent statues, priceless paintings, and vast quantities of gold and silver were looted. Polybius, a Greek historian who witnessed the event, described soldiers playing dice on priceless works of art, completely indifferent to their value. Anything that couldn't be carried away was destroyed. Finally, Mummius gave the order to set the city ablaze. The fires raged for days, turning the architectural marvel into a smoldering ruin. Corinth was systematically dismantled, its people killed or enslaved, its culture plundered. and its very foundations salted, a symbolic act to ensure nothing would ever grow there again. The news of Corinth's destruction sent a shockwave of terror across the entire Greek world. This was the same year Rome had destroyed its other great rival, Carthage, in North Africa. The message was now brutally, terrifyingly clear: resistance to Rome did not lead to defeat, it led to annihilation. It didn't matter how old, how rich, or how culturally significant a city was. If you defied the Republic, you would cease to exist. Rome had demonstrated that its power was absolute and its vengeance was total. Fear became Rome's most effective tool of control. The remaining Greek city-states scrambled to prove their loyalty. Their spirit of independence finally broken, the sack of Corinth marked the end of Greek freedom and the undisputed beginning of Roman dominion over the eastern Mediterranean. The dream of Alexander the Great was over. The age of the Roman Empire had begun. For a century, the site of Corinth lay desolate and abandoned, a ghostly monument to Roman might. The ruins served as a stark reminder to all who passed by of the consequences of rebellion. It was a wound in the heart of Greece. It wasn't until Julius Caesar, decades later, that a new city was founded on the same spot. He established a Roman colony there, repopulating it with Roman citizens and freedmen. This new Corinth grew and prospered once more, becoming an important administrative center in the Roman province. But it was a Roman city, built on the ashes of a Greek one. The original culture, the unique spirit, and the people of ancient Corinth were gone forever, sacrificed on the altar of Roman power. The destruction of Corinth in 146 BC remains one of history's most chilling examples of a superpower using total destruction not just to win a war, but to send a message that would echo through eternity. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into Roman history fascinating, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our next documentary. See you next time.